my favorite things about Daniel is the ease with which he uses the words love you. We met in high school, and I think the second time we hung out, he just looks at me and goes, love you, dude. And I think especially in high school, people are so scared to throw that word around. And he just had so much of it that it was hard to hide, and he had no problem putting it out there. And I always just appreciated how genuine it felt and how genuine it was. And yeah, that's taught me a lot.
My first impression of D was this like goofy, outrageous kid that, if you don't know, he had that lip tattoo because he went on Goob, and he just straight up had goo tattooed across his lip. And I was like, I don't think I want to hang out with this kid. I was like, this kid's just way too much. But ironically, that's the reason why he became so important to me, for that outlandish, brash, just demeanor of way how he approached life. And that's kind of something he's instilled in me, is just that ridiculousness and not to take everything so serious and just having fun with things.
When I first met him, he's like kind of a legend in our house. We like sometimes just be like, Daniel De Lamar, like, I don't know why, he's just, I don't know, the epitome of cool, I guess. And I don't know, I guess it's just because like he's so authentic and, you know, able to be true to himself and like not give a care about what other people are thinking, and that's like, you know, really inspiring for other people too, and it makes you want to be his friend. And you know, he's always looking for adventure, and like I was telling you about our time abroad, like found this place called Fisherman's Magical Cave Experience, had a private beach to ourselves in Morocco, and like getting there was also insanity because like none of us knew the language, and you know, I knew like a little bit of French, so we're just saying like, oh, you know, where's the fish market is where we were supposed to meet, and you know, De Lamar was just, you know, trucking through, and at the end we're like, what the hell did we just go through to get here? And it was a great experience. And yeah, you know, seeing him in PACAR, studying late night, like being in that camaraderie of like, oh, we have a test tomorrow, like we're gonna study. And he was also always just like super helpful, like, you know, in caring for other people's progress. And I don't know, like every time I had a question, he knew the answer and he knew how to explain it so clearly. And it's just great having him like in the department and also like every day to be like in that bright presence. So yeah, definitely gonna miss that. And his random like, yeah, you know, randomly in class.
Yeah, I think what I'll remember most about Daniel inside the classroom is his curiosity for the environment. And then as an engineering student, how we might design or engineer ways in which we could create or foster a more sustainable environment. So there was this sort of intellectual curiosity that Daniel brought to the classroom, in addition to sort of being a glue guy between his peers, in that he didn't really care who he was really working on a project with. He brought that sort of enthusiasm and excitement to every project and to everyone that he worked with. I think as far as one of the funnier memories I have of him outside of the classroom, I was trying to coach him through sort of career advice, and one of his biggest challenges that he was wrestling with and sort of looking forward to interviews is whether or not to keep his mustache. And I think looking back on Daniel, that just cracks a smile across my face, because I just told him to be who you were. He decided to get rid of the mustache, but I think Daniel was always the type to never compromise who he was for anyone or for anything. And he was going to sell himself on who he was, and whether he had a mustache or not, he would be a tremendous asset to any company, any firm that he went after. So, yeah.
Summer after my freshman year, I had hip surgery in Denver. Dan was from Denver. And the night before my surgery, I couldn't eat after midnight, so Dan said he'd come pick me up at the hotel and grab a bite to eat. And he was supposed to come at like 11:15, but he showed up like 10-15 minutes late because he had to search around Denver because he wanted this like one specific book on time travel. Because Dan was just like, I don't know, the kind of guy who not only would like believe in time travel, but like believed that he could travel time, like if he figured out the right sort of like the physics to it and whatnot. But anyways, he picked me up and took me to Voodoo Donuts, which is like this 24-hour donut place in on Colfax Street. And we went and snagged our donuts, and he took me around downtown, and we found this park where we were gonna eat our donuts. And we're sitting there, and this homeless couple comes up to us, and they asked, like, you guys have any water, like a cup we can put water in? And we didn't, but we're like, yo, we got a couple donuts. So like the homeless couple came and kicked it with us and ate donuts, and we chatted for a while. And at the end, they kind of looked at each other and said, like, you know, if you guys don't have any place to stay, like, come kick it with us in our tent tonight. Like, we got this tent down by the river, and like we just said, like, thanks, but like we got a place to be. And I was kind of put off by it, but Dan was looking at me and he said, like, we offered those people 2 donuts, and they literally offered us everything that they had, you know. And like that's just the kind of perspective Dan had on life. Like, never miss an opportunity to engage with people, and like never miss an opportunity to provide something that you have for someone else. So I miss him a lot. He was a good dude.
Dan was just kind of the type of guy who really cared for like how everybody felt. I remember one day I was walking to class, going down Bulldog Alley, and he was going past me. I waved. I don't think he recognized it was me so far, so he like kept turning around, like dodging people on his bike, and finally kind of braked, turned around, and he just kind of guy didn't care if he was late to his class, just wanted to make sure everybody was doing well and really cared for each individual. And I think through all of this, we're realizing he was like homies with absolutely everyone. So he's a great guy.
I had the privilege of living across from Daniel, and my name is Daniel too, so in CM in our corner, there were 2 doors on each side that said Daniel. And I can't tell you how many people came into my room looking for Daniel DeLamar. They were disappointed to find out it was me and it wasn't him. And that just says something about the kind of guy he was. How much people always wanted to hang out with him. He was just such a fun person to be around and had this energy that was so contagious. So that's one thing that I'll always remember about Daniel.
I would see him at lunch every day, and we'd say hi, and it's just, hey Daniel, hey Maddie, how's it going? And he just always seemed to be open to meeting new people and talking to new people, and he was extremely genuine. And when you would be speaking to him, you felt like a conversation you were having was the most important thing at the time. So just even last weekend, we were at an event with all of our friends, and he showed up kind of late, and he walked up into our conversation, and he said, hey guys, you know, I was at my engineering project, like I gotta catch up. And we ended up talking for 20 minutes. And it was really the first time that I had felt like I had made a really good connection with Daniel, and it was just instantaneous. I mean, he had such a contagious smile and laugh, and it's something that the whole community is really gonna miss.
I remember first meeting Daniel pre-orientation week. We went on group together, and he was actually in my group for that. And so we spent, I think, about 3 days together in Montana, just being goobers, going on all these adventures, river rafting, hiking, and biking, and we all really got to know each other. I remember we did this one activity where it was like an icebreaker, and he went around and everybody was shaking each other's hands, and we were in these circles, and I got to meet him. I was really excited to meet him because he just seemed like such a cool person. And then second semester freshman year, I had link classes with him, and I'll never forget this one story. We had to do how-to speeches for our speech class, and Daniel's was how to make guacamole. And so as he's giving his demonstration on how to make guacamole, he had this huge knife and just sliced his hand straight open. Blood was gushing everywhere. And we were all just like, holy crap, like, oh my God, are you okay? And he just kept chugging along, and he was so calm and easygoing. And I think like that memory, it sticks out to me because he was such a calm and just such a chill dude. Like that was his essence, and that's what made him so likable. I just remember like in CM, he would come up to my room and like want to do the philosophy homework together and get those crazy assignments done because they were ridiculous. But I'll just never forget Daniel just on his skateboard saying like, "Sup, homie?"
Well, I
was able to become really close with all of Daniel's friends while he was abroad, and was beyond intimidated for him to come back because I had just heard nonstop stories of how amazing and fantastic and talented and fun he was. And I remember the first few months just being terrified to talk to him because he was just such like a presence and life, and I was so nervous that like if he didn't like me, I would like, I don't know, it was such a tight-knit group of friends that let me in, and from the get-go it was felt like he went out of his way to just make me feel like a part of where I was. And he was, you know, like, Bailey, I've heard so much about you, and it was a while too because then I went abroad when he came back and stuff, and I was just, I don't know, I'll just like always remember like the kindness and fun that like he brought every time I was with him.
It was never easy to walk through campus with him. That was one of my favorite memories of him, just walking. And it's because he would always have to go talk to someone, you know? Like he always, if he knew you, he was gonna come say, hey, but it was bigger than just hey, you know? It was like, how are you doing? What's going on with life? He needed, you know, he needed that because he, you know, he cared about so many people. And I remember freshman year, I was walking with him to CM, and I was like asking him if he wanted to hang, and you know, of course he was like down. And he, in that walk, he probably said to 5 or more people, hey, you know, hit me up tonight. We gotta chill. We haven't chilled in forever, you know. And when I asked him about it later, I was like, dude, why do you ask so many people to chill? Like, you know, you're not gonna be able to hang with all those people. There's too many people, you know. And I remember him telling me, he's like, you know, because it mattered to let him and to other people know that he cared about them, you know, that he was thinking about them. And sometimes that conversation's like all you needed. I mean, and when I thought about it, it was true, you know, because sometimes I didn't hang with him on a Friday when we said we were gonna hang out, but I was always, you know, I was just thinking like, you know, at least I know he was thinking to hang out with me, you know, that he was thinking about other people always. And that was, you know, that was the thing about Daniel. He's always caring about people. And just something I just want, I think, to get across to a lot of people is just like, you know, he had an energy about himself. You know, he had that light that just lit up a room. You know, he came in, you know, everyone was happy because he just knew how to make people have a good time. You know, he was always trying to live life to the fullest and make sure that everyone around him was doing it, you know, doing a crazy thing. And I think people don't realize that energy doesn't get destroyed, you know, it can't be destroyed. That's the amazing thing I learned in physics with him, is you can't destroy energy, it just gets transformed. And his energy was transformed into all of us, you know, it was pushed into each one of us, you know, and we can't let that be forgotten, that his energy is in all of us and that it's going to continue to live, you know, that he taught us to live life to the fullest, you know, to love one another, and to make sure that, you know, you ever see someone you maybe just met that one time, go talk to them, go make sure they're having a good day, because that, you know, that shows people you care, that makes them, you know, just that brightens their day just a little bit more. And I think that was his greatest quality. He just wanted to make sure people knew he cared about them. He was always thinking about others, and I don't want that to die. I think that it didn't die with him, you know, his energy continues to live in all of us, and that's just a huge thing about him. So I just hope my Damie's living it up, you know, up in heaven, because he's watching over all of us, you know, just taking care of us, living life to the fullest, just like he was supposed to.